Now we're going to be looking at circles. So I'm going to teach you different ways of calculating the area of a circle. Now, first of all, start over here on the left. You can see that's just a full normal circle with the radius r. Remember, the radius is always the length from the center of the circle to the circumference. So that's the radius. Remember, guys, we can draw multiple lengths of radiuses. That's also a radius, that's a radius, that's the radius. They all have the same lengths, okay? As long as it's from the center to the outside of the circle. That's the radius. The area is given as pi times radius squared. So pi r squared. For those who aren't used to pi, that's a little button on the calculator. Can you first identify where that is on your calculator? For most of you, probably have to use shift something and then get the value of pi. It's probably 3.14 something. Utilize that button, guys. Find where that button is, and that's what we're going to be using to find the area of a circle. So the only thing you got to remember is to identify the radius. Now, sometimes a circle, we don't have full circles. We have only parts of the circle, like a pizza slice, okay? So like that. Sometimes if it's like that, we don't need to find the whole circle. But what you can do to find just that section of the circle is find first of all the area of the full circle by using your normal pi r squared formula. So in this one, you also need your radius. So make sure you can first identify your radius. So r, pi r squared. Now see how it's given an angle here? It's theta. Say theta is like 40. Then that particular pizza slice is 40 out of, what's the full revolution, guys? What's the angle sum? 360, isn't it? So this sector here, if theta was 40, if the angle was 40, the fraction of that slice would be 40 out of 360. That's the fraction of the circle we want. That's what you multiply by. So whatever angle that is, you divide it by 360 to get that fraction. Find the area correcting to 1dp. Okay, they give you the radius, stick it into your formula, pi r squared. So pi times 4 squared, you should get this in your calculator. Please check if you do get this. This is very important. And to 1 decimal place, it's just that. Okay, say pi r squared, that's all I used. Okay, this time, the same kind of question, but we don't have the radius. We're given the diameter. See how this full length is 10 centimeters? So what would be the radius? Radius is always half of the diameter, so the radius is 5. We're going to be using 5, okay, not 10. Make sure you don't use 10. Area is pi r squared, so pi times 5 squared. Try to put that in your calculator, guys, and check if you get this, okay? And to 1 decimal place, that should be your answer. 46, find r. So we want to find the radius this time, and they give you the area is 60. So just put it into your formula. Pi r squared is going to be 60, isn't it? So now we have to calculate what r is. So r squared, you simply divide by pi, because I don't want pi r squared, I just want r, right? So you divide by pi first, and then to get r, we have to square root it. And plug that into your calculator to get that. So please check if you get that. To 1 decimal place, that's your answer. Find d correcting to 1 decimal place. Now we can't find d straight away with our area formula. See how they give you the area? To get the area, we only need the radius. So I'm not going to use d, I'm going to use d divided by 2. Pi r squared is 80, and you can see that r squared is again 80 divided by pi. So see how pi, you just divide it, and again you square root it to get r. But which is that? To 1 decimal place. I'll round it to 1 decimal place a little bit later. But see how radius is that? D is, as I said, 2 times the radius. Okay, so radius is d divided by 2. So see how I've got radius? So to get the diameter, we simply multiply that by 2. So 2 times that value, we'll get something like this. To 1 decimal place, that is your answer. Alright, so first of all, trying to find the radius, not the diameter, because we need radius to find the area. Okay, and then multiply that by 2 later if you do need to find the diameter, like in this question. Find the area, okay, now this time it's not a full circle, it's a fraction of a circle, isn't it? And they give you the angle is 30. So what fraction of the circle does this indicate? Can you guys tell me? 30 out of 360, isn't it? And the radius is 6. So I'm simply going to do pi r squared, so pi times 6 squared, times that fraction, 30 out of 360. Put that into your calculator very, very carefully, and you should get this. Please check if you do, okay? And then to 2 decimal places, that's your answer. Find the area of the circle, correcting to 2 decimal places. Okay, it's a circle and it's got a right angle inside. Now we don't have the radius, but because they give you the right angle triangle, what can we use? Of course, the Pythagoras theorem, right? Because see how the hypotenuse is the diameter? It passes through the center. So the hypotenuse is the diameter. So what I'll do is first find the diameter. So I'll do diameter squared is 6 squared plus 8 squared, which will give you 100. Therefore, d is going to be square root of 100, which gives you 10. So the diameter is 10. So what's the radius? Radius must be half of it, which is 5. So to find so radius is 5. To find the area of the circle, we need to do pi r squared. So I'm just going to do pi times 5 squared, which is something like this. And to 2 decimal places, that is your answer. Find r. Now, guys, you can see that this time it's not a full circle, but see how that's a right angle, which indicates, see how 90 is a quarter of a full revolution. So therefore, this is only a quarter that's missing. So the remaining, this part that we want is 3/4. So that's the fraction of the circle that we want. Pi r squared times 3/4 is going to be 50. That's what we do. Now I want r. I'm going to divide by pi. So see how I'm multiplying by pi here? So I times by 1 over pi, or divide by pi. And then see how we've got 3/4 here? I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. Remember, that's what we do when we want to eliminate the fraction. I flip it, find the reciprocal, and multiply that here. 4 on 3. So now I only have r squared left on the left. So that's how we get r squared. Now that's what we want as r squared. Just calculate that using your calculator. And to get r, we square root it, and then square rooting that will get you something like this. So we want to put it to 1 decimal place, which will get you 4.6. So that was some circles.